You were dealing with a chronic illness, a chronic infection. What
Yes,
kind of infection?
Lyme disease.
And tell me a little bit more about that. What kind of symptoms were you dealing with, and how was that impacting your life?
Sure. Well, there's so much with Lyme disease. For me personally, I just had this fatigue where walking upstairs was difficult, and just it continued. And other things that happened were just brain fog, not being able to remember things, and feeling older than I really was.
And you're a young mother
exactly.
of three, so you have to kind of keep up with these
Yes,
youngsters.
yes. And so the fatigue was my major symptom, but other things, just really not being able to think through things clearly, not being able to finish tasks. I would have to make lists before I could make a phone call, because my brain just was not able to function as well.
And when did these symptoms start to appear?
For me, it was about 96 when my husband and I were engaged to be married. So that was a difficult time, not just wondering, why am I not getting enough sleep? Why can I not ride a bike for so long? You know, what was it? And just really difficult. And then just from there, just more and more fatigue and things getting harder just to do simple tasks.
And what did your journey look like, to find out? I mean, because obviously you're just thinking, I'm just tired.
Right.
But how did you start to search, for what was going on with you, and what was your journey?
Sure, many doctors, trying to figure out what's wrong. At one point I thought it was candida. At one point I thought it was just this chronic fatigue, trying every new drink, every new supplement out there, trying everything, traveling to different doctors. And then it wasn't until my husband went to Mayo Clinic, because he started getting ill, that we'd even heard of Lyme disease. And so that was brought up, and then just seeing similar things going on. And then it was like, wait a second. And then we finally found out what test to get, because I guess there's different tests. So we finally did that, and then they said we had Lyme disease. And then from then I thought, well, it's good, we know what we have, we'll get better. And that wasn't the case. It was paying a lot of money. It was paying, without really the hope that I was getting from anybody of, you'll get better. It was like, well, maybe we'll see, and that kind of thing. So it made it so difficult. So I got to a point of just giving up and just settling on, like I had told you, just crazy things like onion juice. So that just helped me to function, because I wanted to function. But for a mom, you don't have, that extra job to pay for such things as going and finding a lot of doctors.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, if you would calculate the amount of money that you spent on all your treatments and all your labs.
My poor husband, a lot. I mean, it would be, $200 here, $300 there for this test, and then get it back. Well, we need to go do this test, and then we'll give you these supplements. And I mean, we had times where it was just so discouraging. You would leave, and it would be like, well, we're going to charge you $1,000 for this visit. And you would say, well, is this going to really help? Well, we don't know for sure. And is there any plan? I just felt like there was no plan for getting better, so I was very discouraged. And it's hard to come home and tell your husband, well, they don't know if I'm getting better, but hey, I just got a new bill for $1,000 to add to our ongoing debt.
Great.
So yes, and it had been going on for years. So it just, it was about 15 years, of just
this struggle. So what got? What turned it around for you?
Meeting you. I had, like I said, just given up hope, and just was, resorting to things that I knew worked. Natural things worked for me. Friends thought I was crazy that I was drinking onion juice, but that was just something I had found that helped me to function, and didn't cost me thousands of dollars, worth of things that might not help. And so as crazy as it sounds, but it was never getting me better. Everything would just kind of work for a bit, and then I'd be back where I was at. So, and then I met you at a expo that and just was so interesting to talk to you, just the way that you cared about what I was talking about when I mentioned I was dealing with a Lyme, and the way you explained why the onion juice was even helping me. Such a crazy thing, instead of, and just not another crazy Lyme patient did you treat me like. So you were very helpful, and so I just wanted to know more, and I wanted to talk to you more. And was interested from then on.
So how are you feeling now? I mean, still dealing with brain fog?
No, amazing. I have had no symptoms come back. I can't get over. I run upstairs now because I can. I run with my kids because I can. I don't have to make lists when I make a phone call because I don't have to do that anymore. I don't struggle to talk to people. Unless it's just a natural thing where you're nervous or something like that, but not
you're here
normal.
On TV.
Exactly. I couldn't have done this with a Lyme.
No.
The stress would have set off all my symptoms, and I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I would have had to decline because of just being so ill and not wanting everybody to see and stuff. So
there is hope.
There is hope.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's beyond, I mean, because I know the normal course of treatment is you take this antibiotic, and so it's actually hope without antibiotic.
Yes, I have taken no antibiotics at all. And I'm probably the only, I know so many people, and I have met so many people that struggle with Lyme. And I was just telling a friend the other day that I was talking to that has Lyme, I'm the only person that I know that has gotten better, and that is really troubling. And that's really hard to see. Many of them, like me, a mom. I'm a homeschooling mom, and I have kids, and I have things I've got to do, trying to be a good wife and all those things that are on my plate. And seeing these moms struggle with that after being on the other side of being able to now do so much I couldn't before is difficult.
And one thing is that what they're finding out is that Lyme is actually you can get infected through the placenta, so your children can then become infected. And obviously you were dealing with Lyme prior to giving birth to your children. So tell me a little bit about that. I know one of your daughter, Mariah.
I had it before. I did not know until my children were older what it was that I was dealing with. So they were already infected, and seeing symptoms in them and wondering what's wrong. Why are they struggling with this? What's going on here? We're ill and we don't know what's wrong. And that was our...
Wonderful. So with Mariah, then she... I know she was struggling a little bit, and then, just putting on a nutritional protocol, she was doing better.
She's doing amazing. And to say struggling a little, I saw my daughter just really struggling with even walking and not tripping, things like that. Little things that you just know as a mom are just not right. And we say, why are you tripping over everything and falling? And just ate normal, but really kind of a fragile thin. And as a mom, you're just like, things aren't right. When she was younger, not catching on to things, and so kind of bring those things to doctors, and they wouldn't know, and so you stop doing that, and just think, well, once I found out that I had the Lyme, thinking, well, it must be the Lyme disease, but then you don't want your children to struggle. It's one thing when you struggle, but to see your children struggle, you just would give anything to make them better.
And now she's doing fine?
She's doing wonderful. Yes, she no longer, I've had to apologize to her for all those times that we just didn't understand why she was tripping over everything. And just happy to see her just growing normally. Just since treatment, just asking her questions and seeing changes that have just overjoyed me.
Well, thank you so much, Melissa, for coming on to the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.